Hello friends, welcome to Run TV Social. So today we are going to have a discussion about how to integrate Jenkins with a GitHub using Webhook. So in order to do that, in my previous videos, I explained you guys how to provision an EC2 instance and how to install Jenkins on EC2 instance. In this video, we are gonna provision an instance and we are gonna install Jenkins and we are gonna integrate Jenkins with a GitHub using Webhook for continuous integration and a continuous deployment. And let's get started. Launch an instance. I'm going to launch an EC2 instance. Review and launch. I'm going to use the same baseline key that I have. Instance will be ready in a minute. So let's go and log into our GitHub. Yeah, what we can do is we can create a brand new repository. I could use any one of existing repository, but let's create a brand new repository so that you guys will understand how we can create repositories from the console as well. Okay, and let's create a new repository, and I would call Webhook repo. This should be public because if you want to use a private, you need to pay. I don't have any sensitive data in this repository, and so it's okay if it is a public. That's okay, and yeah, our instance will be ready. So let's go and let's connect to this instance and let's install Jenkins. So like I said, this is the command that I need to use to connect to this instance using SSH client, and I can use the terminal as an SSH client here. Okay, just give me a minute. I have to open my terminal. Okay, so my key pair is in my downloads folder. Let's check whether the key pair is there or not. Baseline key, so it's there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect to that instance. I would say yes. Then I will install Jenkins. How we can install Jenkins? In order to install Jenkins, I need to update the packages. Sudo yum update -y. So no package marked up for update because this Amazon Linux machine is up to date. So let's install Java. I would install 1.8 version. One. Oh, my bad. So Java will be installed in a minute. Let's import the repository Jenkins repo and let's import the Jenkins IO key. Then we will install Jenkins. Okay. Let's go here. Let me get my not this one. I'm just trying to get my document that I used earlier. So Yeah, this is the document. So Java has been installed already. Then just import this Jenkins key. I'll just remove that 5 and just typo. I'll just try to fix the typo. Then I'll install Jenkins. So I need to install Apple, since this is a AWS Linux machine. I'll just get the command from the documentation. Yep, this is the command that we need to use. This is for some prerequisites. Okay, now let's install Jenkins. Sudo yum install. For any package you should use yum. For Amazon Linux and CentOS. Okay, yum is a package manager. So the Jenkins installation complete, just start the service. Sudo systemctl start Jenkins and enable the service. And we'll check the status of the service. Okay. Yeah. So our Jenkins machine is up and running now. Let's go and enable the inbound role in order to access the HTTP request. Okay. This is our EC2 instance, and let's go to our instance. And the security will enable the inbound role to access like a HTTP request. Okay. So the currently it is accepting only SSH. That's how we connected to this instance from SSH client, which is terminal. Now we'll add a role. For time being, I would accept all traffic from any IP, and I just change the role. I'll just change the role. And now let's go back to our instance. By default, Jenkins will be installed on port 8080. Okay. And let's get the public IP. Let's go here. HTTP to that. So let's get this key. Just admin password. It's just trying to make sure that it's you. An extra step in the identification purpose. So what I would do, I would use sudo cat, get the key from that location. Let's go here. and I'll just install default plugins. So what we are doing is we are going to execute git commands in this mission, in this Jenkins mission, because when Jenkins try to integrate, like when Jenkins try to clone the repository, it's gonna use git commands. So in order to execute git commands, git should be installed on this mission. So let's install git. Sudo yum install git -y, and we will need to enable the passwordless authentication between this Jenkins machine and the GitHub. So how we can achieve that? We'll generate SSH keys, and we'll add a public key. We'll add a public key to our GitHub. So this server will have a private key, and we are gonna get, you see that? So one public key and one private key. Let's get the public key. We'll add this public key to the Bitbucket. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to enable the connection between two servers without password, like a passwordless authentication. I can skip this step for now, and I'll just save and finish. Start using Jenkins. Jenkins will be ready. So in order to add keys, you would go to your profile settings. In the left side, you will see the SSH and the GPG keys, and add a new SSH key and paste that public key here and add key, and just making sure it's you. That's confirmed. Yes. So the public key has been added. So automatically we will get access to this GitHub. Okay. Now our Jenkins is ready. So let's create let's add a webhook. So then we will create a project in Jenkins, and we'll see how that works. Okay. And let's go to our GitHub. So in order to add a webhook, right? In order to add a webhook, what we need to do, we need to go to the repository settings. You see that this is the repository settings, and we will, in the left side there is a tab called webhooks, and we'll add a webhook like this. Okay, and the payload URL is nothing but the Jenkins URL. Okay, let's get the Jenkins URL from here. What we are trying to do here, we are trying to add a webhook. So we'll add GitHub-webhook extension. Okay, content type I'll just use JSON because very easy to understand, and I would select individual events. You know, this event occur, then you can trigger the job. That's what I've been telling to Jenkins. Okay, and add webhook, and this symbol right here will be green in a minute. So if it is green, then only we will understand that the webhook has been created. So yeah, this is good. Now let's go to our Jenkins and let's create our first project. Okay, new item, we'll call Jenkins integration, example Jenkins integration, and these are the types of projects that are available in Jenkins, but we'll choose a freestyle project. Most of the companies, they are using pipelines for continuous integration and a continuous deployment, but we'll discuss about pipelines a little bit later. So for now, we'll just use simply freestyle project, and we'll create a project. So these are the tabs that are available. Source code management will use Git. That's what we are uh, integrating, right? GitHub. So let's go to our repository and get the repository URL. Get the repository URL, and will, if anything happens, if those two events happens to this master branch, then only we are telling Jenkins to trigger the job. How Jenkins is going to identify those changes? Using hook trigger. You see that this is hook trigger. Let's select that hook trigger and we'll add a build step to execute simple, maybe simple initial command. Okay, I'll use the tester.sh and I can add a tester.sh to our repository. Okay, now let's go to our terminal and let's clone that repository. Git clone and the repository URL. Let's clone that repository and locally, and we'll try to make some changes. Then the Jenkins automatically should trigger the job, and we'll see that in a minute. Okay, clone the repository. You know what, we'll clone the repository on this machine as well. Okay, was using wrong terminal. Git clone would say yes. Okay, now we'll go to our repository. Let's add a file, right? Vi tester.sh, and we'll add some simple shell command. So /bin/bash, that's the first line in the shell script. We know that already. So this is Webhook project, just simple text, and when we push these changes, the Jenkins automatically should trigger the job. That's what about the webhook, right? Integrating Jenkins with a GitHub. So git add tester.sh, git commit -m added first file something. This is -m, just a commit message. You can give any commit message that you want. Okay, and what we will do is we'll change the configurations. This is complaining about these two username and URLs. So wiki123. Let's just make sure that's a VICKY123 wiki123, and we'll change the email address to our GitHub email address. Okay, and we'll just reset that other information. Okay, git push origin master. So let's go to our repository. Actually, you know what? Git branch. So a main branch is created. Let's create a master branch from here. Okay. Let's create a branch called master from here. How we can create a branch? Git checkout -b master. So it is going to create a new branch called master, and it will check out to that branch. Okay. Now git branch, do ls, and git. Let's add something to test.sh. Echo. This is Webhook project. Done. Then let's add git add test.sh, git commit -n, created new branch. Why we create a new branch? Because when we configure our Jenkins job, we told Jenkins like if any changes came to that master branch, then only you can trigger. We can change that master to main over there, but I just wanted to show you guys how we can create a branch from terminal. So git push origin master. Now the Jenkins should trigger the job already. We did not run any jobs, right? And let's go to our Jenkins and just to see. You see that? So there is a job is running. You see that? This is output. This is Webhook, and this is the Webhook project done. That's the changes that we just made to our master branch for this Webhook repo. So that's how most of the companies they do continuous integration. When developer make their changes to the repository, whatever the repository they are working on, the Jenkins is automatically is gonna pull those changes and it is going to trigger the job using Webhook. And this is how we can configure Webhook in a GitHub. So this is how we can integrate Jenkins with a GitHub. So this is all about this video, guys. If you guys like this video, please share this video, and if you guys have any questions or comments, please comment in this video. So I'm gonna respond to those comments as soon as I get a chance. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you. Have a great evening, guys. Bye bye.